DART, Delaware's transit service, moving forward.
4, 3, 2.
New tonight, a 4-year investigation and prosecution of a Wilmington gang leads to 20 convictions. Plus, how Sussex County towns are handling recreational marijuana as the debate heats up. And if you're hitting the road or the skies this Thanksgiving, you're going to want to pack your patience and budget some extra time. More on AAA's historic travel numbers coming up. Those stories and much more straight ahead tonight on DETV News. Good evening and welcome to DETV News. I'm Matt Ford. Thanks for being with us tonight. Topping the news today, with the latest murder conviction, Wilmington Police and the State Attorney General's office wrapped up a 4-year investigation and prosecution of a major Wilmington gang with 100% conviction rate. 22-year-old Deontay Robinson was convicted of murder in the 2nd degree, gang participation, conspiracy, and other charges. He faces 15 years to life at sentencing. The state's case against the gang began back in September of 2019 as an effort to address gang violence in Wilmington. A task force was created that included Wilmington Police, the Delaware and U.S. Departments of Justice, the ATF, and the FBI. Traces on crime guns recovered in and around Wilmington helped the task force identify the gang as a major driver of violence in Wilmington. The investigation identified 19 defendants involved with Wilmington gangs and 1 man who contracted a Dover killing. The crimes included 4 murders, a mass shooting which injured 6, and numerous other shootings and gun offenses. All 20 were convicted, and the state secured more than 100 years of confirmed prison time, with several defendants yet to be sentenced. And a Newcastle County jury this afternoon convicted a Wilmington man on 25 charges related to a 2021 crime spree that left 2 people dead here in Delaware. He also faces charges that he killed an additional 4 people in Pennsylvania. Keith Gibson was found guilty for killing 28-year-old Leslie Ruiz Basillo in an Ellesmere cell phone store and 42-year-old Ronald Wright during a street robbery in June. He also shot a convenience store clerk in Wilmington and robbed a city Rite Aid store around the same time. Philadelphia authorities said once Delaware proceedings are complete, they will charge him with 4 additional murders that occurred in the city at the same time. Wilmington police arrested Gibson shortly after the robbery of a Rite Aid in the Adams 4 area shopping center. The clerk in the store gave Gibson cash with a tracking device, which led police right to Gibson hiding in a nearby backyard. And in more police news, a 19-year-old Wilmington man has been arrested for the shooting death of 20-year-old Jose Gonzalez. That's according to Ellesmere Police. They say that Jeremy Herrera was indicted by a Newcastle County grand jury back on November 6th and was taken into custody 4 days later after police executed a related search warrant in the Murray Manor trailer park. Gonzalez was found dead in the 900 block of South Grant Avenue after police were called to the scene shortly before 4 a.m. on September 16th. Gonzalez had been shot multiple times. Herrera was charged with first-degree murder, tampering with evidence, and several other charges. He was jailed on a $2 million bail. And a FedEx employee here in Delaware has been arrested on firearm and felony theft charges. Newcastle police say 27-year-old Jordan Hamilton of Wilmington was arrested for allegedly stealing over $99,000 worth of gold coins from a package. Police said they began investigating Hamilton back in September and were able to execute a search warrant on his home, where they found stolen gold and silver. Police also found several firearms, including a 12-gauge shotgun with an obliterated serial number, as well as a 9mm handgun that was also reported stolen out of Philadelphia. Hamilton is facing multiple charges, including felony theft. He turned himself in on November 10th. His bail was set to $21,000 unsecured, and he was later released. And state police arrested a 40-year-old Selbyville man for felony reckless endangering after he drove his van into a group of men that were talking with his ex-wife. Police said Moises Espinoza Saldivar confronted his ex-wife after seeing her speaking to construction workers outside of her home on Cape Lane. That's down in Frankfort. This happened Saturday morning. After an argument, he got back into his van and sped towards the group of 3 men standing by a deck. 2 of the men jumped out of the way, but one was pinned against the deck, causing some serious injury. The 44-year-old man was flown to an area trauma hospital for his injuries. Now, 2 children were on the deck as well when the crash occurred, but no other injuries were reported. Police took Espinoza Saldivar into custody at the scene without any incident. He was committed to Sussex Correctional Institution on an $88,000 cash bond. And continuing news in Sussex County, on Monday night, the Georgetown Town Council discussed the possibility of allowing marijuana businesses such as dispensaries within town limits. A possible ordinance still needs to be reviewed by the town's planning commission and be discussed multiple times by town council and the public before it's passed. The ordinance would not allow for more than 2 marijuana dispensaries within town limits. Other towns around Sussex County have already decided to not allow marijuana businesses in their jurisdictions. Per House Bill number 2, towns and municipalities have the authority to restrict recreational marijuana. According to Georgetown's town manager, towns have to make the call on if they want to restrict marijuana or regulate it by the summer of 2024. Hunters, listen up. The Delaware Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Control is asking you to keep an eye out for a type of fox squirrel this hunting season. According to DENREC, the Delmarva fox squirrel is a subspecies of the fox squirrel found only on the Delmarva Peninsula. The agency has implemented a conservation plan that involves a project to move squirrels from Maryland into southern Delaware. DENREC says its biologists have released Delmarva fox squirrels to specific wildlife areas and state parks, and that some of those squirrels have moved from those release sites. The gray squirrel can be found in Sussex County, but their fur almost always has some brown in it, while Delmarva fox squirrels do not. The fox squirrels appear more silver. DENREC is asking for hunters to send photos and location information of Delmarva fox squirrels to the email seen on your screen below. And Delaware bus drivers may soon see a pay raise if a key education committee gets its way. The Public School Transportation Committee voted Monday to recommend increasing bus driver pay to $25 an hour. That's up from the current $22.50 an hour. The committee says higher wages are needed to address a shortage of drivers that's disrupting transportations for thousands of students statewide. They say better pay will attract and retain more drivers. The committee also wants to boost safety measures like cameras and GPS on all their buses. They say deterring misbehavior and preventing catalytic converter thefts from bus yards should make the job more appealing. But the state says finding the money won't be easy with many competing budget demands this year, and transitioning to electric buses over the next decade will be costly. The Transportation Committee's recommendations go to the State Budget Office in April. Drivers hope the pay raise makes the cut. It would cost Delaware about $4.4 million, but could mean reliable rides for school students across the state. Turning to educational news now, Delaware State University is slated to sign an agreement with United Airlines tomorrow that will forge a path for students to become pilots. The partnership agreement will make Del State's aviation program part of United Airlines' Aviate program. As a University Aviate partner, DSU aviation students who meet the eligibility requirements can apply to Aviate and receive a conditional job offer as a United Airlines first officer. A DSU aviation program, it was established back in 1987 and currently has 110 professional pilot students, 47 aviation management majors, and 6 helicopter flight training students. That's awesome. And speaking of airlines, this year's Thanksgiving holiday is expected to be the third busiest one for travel since AAA started tracking holiday travel volumes back in the year 2000. According to AAA's annual Thanksgiving holiday travel forecast, nearly 55 million Americans will travel 50 miles or more from home this Thanksgiving holiday. Most Thanksgiving travelers will drive to their destinations, with 49 million planning a road trip. That's actually despite gas costing over $1 more per gallon than it did last year. Air travel will also see a bump this Thanksgiving, with 4.5 million Americans flying to their holiday destinations. Where are they going? Well, warm weather destinations, theme parks, tourist attractions, and cruise port cities top the list of domestic and international destinations this holiday season. AAA urges anyone that's hitting the road this Thanksgiving to make sure their vehicles are ready for the trip by checking your batteries, tires, and fluid levels. They also recommend packing emergency kits in case of a roadside breakdown. Tuesday and Wednesday before Thanksgiving are the busiest air travel days ahead of the holiday, and they're also the most expensive. While Sunday is typically the busiest day to return home, AAA data actually shows that Monday is also a popular day to fly home after Thanksgiving. And the Wilmington Alliance hosted the grand opening and ribbon cutting today of a new community gathering space. It's located at 501 West 7th Street. Called the Artomat, the space is the latest addition to improvements in West Center City. This is the latest project from the Wilmington Alliance, transforming a nuisance property into one that's focused on the arts. And the annual Delaware Hospice Festival of Trees will open this Friday in Newcastle County and then December 1st in Kent and Sussex counties. In Newcastle, the trees will be displayed at Brantwyn Estate and downstate at the Delaware Hospice Center in Milford. Proceeds from both benefit Delaware hospice programs throughout the state of Delaware. The trees are decorated by volunteers in different themes. Home decor and food for sale are handmade by volunteers. The events are free to the public. For more information, visit delawarehospice.org. And before we sign off tonight, a Delaware family won more than $20,000 last week in a 3-night run on the popular game show Family Feud. The Pike Creek-based Griffith family was no stranger to nationally televised game shows. Angelo Griffith's wife, Lori, won nearly $14,000 in cash and prizes on Wheel of Fortune back in 2019. That included a cruise to Alaska. The family hosted a watch party for one of the episodes at Dom's Pizzeria in Newport. It's amazing. Well, that's going to do it for tonight's edition of DETV News. Be sure to like and follow us across your favorite social media platforms. And for a look at what's happening around the state of Delaware, check out our website. That's detvch.com. With tonight's news, I'm Matt Ford. Join Lauren Wilson when DETV News continues tomorrow night. We'll see you then.